This was actually a photograph, an entire photograph that could have been, I could have editioned this the way it is as a collage, but I didn't because I really wanted to make it one of a kind. And what it is that the title says it all, as they say, but it's Arbus on EHOP and bacon on DK Muy Picante, or Picasso Ante. And of course I was hearing Spanish for 3 weeks through my head. And what happened is that I photographed this to basically receive that information. I photographed the woman on the bed, I photographed the frame, I photographed the guy smoking the cigarette, which, if you, in your mind, if you reverse him, it's Hopper's painting of a couple in a hotel near a railroad, and he's smoking a cigarette. But I put the hair curls in him, of course, is Arbus, one of the great portraits of Arbus. And the bacon, of course, is related to the power, the association of de Kooning, and I don't even mention Pollock in the front and nor Picasso later on. But the woman on the bed, originally nude, is just you can just see her eye, and basically it's about the anxiety of the times we're living in, and how that anxiety is related to, as far as the visual history of the time we're living in. And she's kind of cowering behind the image or the icon of a woman that's both bacon and de Kooning at the same time. And I think it's just a perfect little thing, but it's a lot of little things. This particular image, Night in a Small Town, the reference, the beginning of this, is that I love Edward Hopper. The fact that I was living in the village in 1967 when he died, and I was only living about 6 blocks away from where he lived in Washington Square Park. But I didn't know he lived there. I thought he lived in Nyack, where he was born. But I've always loved his work. Every time I come to Chicago, what I do the first day after I come here, I go to Art Institute to see the great painting, 9 Hawks. And this area comes from room in New York City. And it's a couple, he's at the table, and she's kind of playing the piano. They're totally bored, totally kind of solitary. And there's a door there too, there's a kind of painting on the wall. And that was the starting point. I started with the door, and I got this from a catalog of taxidermy specimens. And of course we cut the head off, and I knew this was the beginning of working with some aspects of digital retouching, because I knew there was no way, Jose, that I was going to put this woman in here without having to basically have it retouched. And as we were painting this, it took about 2 weeks to paint this under my supervision. I got in touch with different people, and I got in touch with this very, very wonderful digital worker who I'm still working with. He's fantastic. And we put her, 3 times she came for fittings, because of course she's standing here on a base, and I photographed her standing there, and I photographed her without being there, And we put this out of focus. This was painted and put in front. This is one of our Navajo carpets. This door, I was starting to explain, this is a regular door. Then I knew that it was this high. This is a trompe-l'oeil on top. There's a regular door with a trompe-l'oeil door, and there's a real frame. I bought this painting in Valencia for €1. I love it. I rented this one. She's the same woman in Raptor George Bush as the Angel of Death. She actually plays the piano, has a collection of 30s and 40s and 50s dresses. And when this was first shown, a man seeing the show came up to me and says, "Oh, I can read the music. It's Albinioni." So that was very important to me. So I chose Albinioni for the photograph. And but what this is about is the fact, obviously, this is the muse of this artist. who's basically checking out her work. And I love the fact that in Hopper, very often the nudes, some of the men too are smoking cigarettes. This is kind of a common thing at the time. And so she's smoking the cigarette, and it took us really a long time to get that smoke at the strobe. And I really love this photograph. It's very, very delicate. It's very accessible. It's one of the photographs of mine that you can see in the morning over Cheerios. This particular maquette for it, actually this is the same model from Retablo with the painting of Retablo in the background. And I came across this and I started drawing the horse shape and made the cigarette position possible. I love doing these things on Polaroids. And then so this became the maquette for this particular, one of two of them actually, for this image. And it was the first time I actually dealt with a digital change in the work. But what I do get after we make the changes is I get an 8 by 10 negative. So the work itself is always analog. That doesn't change. And so that basically keeps, for me, the purity. And basically, as I said before, it basically keeps information available and a way to approach the work to make it as emotional and perfect as possible.